This is the sequel of The Heart of Darkness, and we so on and so forth. We have come towards the mm, meeting of the bricklayer and Shirley Marlowe. Marlowe gets the impression that the man wants to pump him and is curious to know what kind of information he is after. Hanging on the wall is a small sketch in oils on a panel representing a woman draped and blindfolded and carrying a lighted torch. Pertaining to the illusions of page number 39, Marlowe is fascinated with the sinister effect of the torchlight upon that woman's face and is informed by Mr. Kurtz had made the painting. Informed by the bricklayer in the station a year ago, the brickmaker calls Kurtz a prodigy and an emissary of PD, science and progress, and feels that Kurtz represents the higher intelligence, wider sympathies, and the singleness of purpose needed for the cause Europeans entrusts the company with. Page number 39. Sustenance. The man predicts that Kurtz will rise in the hierarchy. So similar analogy here pertaining to that of the chief accountant, impeccably chief accountant, that he would be a somebody in the administration, and here even the bricklayer is having acclamations and praiseworthy comments regarding the obsessed Mr. Kurtz. So he's an emissary, he's a prodigy of pity, science and progress, and he feels that Kurtz would be somebody, and Kurtz would be of higher intelligence and wide sympathies, and the singleness of purpose needed for the cause Europe entrusts the company with. The man predicts that Kurtz will rise in the hierarchy within 2 years and then makes the connection to Marlowe. The same people who sent him specially also recommended you. Pages sustaining till 39 and 40. Marlowe is frustrated by the months it takes to perform the repairs made by the lack of improved tools and proper tools and replacement curbs at the station. During this time, he learns that Kurtz is far from being admired, but more or less resented mostly by the manager, who admonishes Kurtz more or less. Once underway, the journey up the river Kurtz station takes 2 months up to till this day. The steamboat stops briefly, boat on the river bank where Marlowe finds a pile of wood and a note indicating that the wood is for them and that they should proceed quickly but with caution as they near the innermost station of Kurds. The journey pauses for a night, and about 8 miles they have covered the journey, alluding to 13 kilometers below the inner station. In the running morning, crew awakens to their surprise and appalling shock, being enveloped by a thick fog. From the river bank, they had even heard a very loud cry, followed by a discordant clamor. A few hours ago, here discordant clamor means discordant eludes and defines unjustifiable or exor- exorbitant and even mm, incongruous and contrary to or the discrepancy, hullabaloo or the hubbub and the bra brahaha or the clangor and the hullabaloo and the hubbub and the brahaha and the tumult, contradictory to, conflict with, contrary to, discrepancies, and incongruous. I had been reading the annotations. Well, a few hours later, a safe navigation becomes increasingly difficult by the steamboat, and attacked by a barrage of the steamboat had been attacked by a barrage of small arrows. Here, the feud comes maybe from the forest by the natives, black black American, black Africans. The helmsman is impaled by a spear, pierced by a spear, or we can say disemboweled by a spear, or even um, lanced and harpooned by a spear, or perforated by a spear. I had been reading the annotations. And Marlowe sounds the steam whistle repeatedly, sounds the steam whistle, frightening the attackers and the invaders, causing the shower of arrows to cease. So there had been a fusillade of arrows which had ceased. Marlowe and the pilgrim, Marlowe's word for the European hangers on in the steamer. Watch the helmsman die at Marlowe's feet. In a flash forward, Marlowe notes that the International Society for the Suppression of the Savage Customs had appointed and commissioned Kurtz to write a report, which he did eloquently. A handwritten postscriptum, currently apparently added later by Kurtz, pertaining to page number 83's quote, "Exterminate all the brutes." And at Kurtz Station, Marlowe sees a man on the river bank waving his arm, urging them to land. The pilgrims, heavily armed, escort the manager on the shore to receive Mr. Kurtz. The man from the bank boards the steamboat and turns out to be a Russian wanderer who had happened to stray into Kurt's camp. He explained that he had left the woods and the note on the abandoned hut. Through conversation, Marlowe discovers how wanton Kurtz can be, how the natives worship him, and how he has been very ill disposed of late. The Russian admires Kurtz for some intellect, but as well as his insights into love, life, and justice, and suggests that he is a poet as well as. He tells of Kurtz, of how he had opened his mind and seems to admire even for his power, for his willingness to use power and sovereignty. Marlowe, on the other hand, suggests that Kurtz had gone crazy, mad, and lunatic. From the steamboat, Marlowe observes the station in detail and is surprised to see near the station a house row of posts topped with heads served of the natives. Around the corner of the house, the manager appears with the pilgrims bearing a gaunt and a ghost like Kurds on improvised stretcher. The area fills with natives, apparently ready for battle. Kurtz shouts something from the stretcher, and the natives retreat back to the forest. The pilgrims carry Kurtz on the stretcher, and even to a private conversation takes place, discourse between the manager and Kurtz. Marlowe watches a beautiful native woman walking in the abyss, measured steps along the shore, and stopped next to the steamer. When the manager exits the cabin, he pulls Marlowe aside and tells him that Kurtz has harmed the company's business in the region, and that his method are violent, vague, dilapidated, and unsound. Later, Russian reveals that Kurtz believes that company wants to remove him from the station and kills would want to kill him. Marlowe confirms these hangings to be confirmed with this conformity of the discussion. After midnight, Marlowe discovers that Kurtz has left his cabin on the steamer and returned to the shore. He goes ashore and finds a very weak Kurtz crawling his way back to the station house, though not quick enough to call the natives for favor. Marlowe threatens to harm Kurtz, and